You haven't really looked down at a city in a long time, have you? Don't blink. Over the next minute, we're not walking the map sideways. We're dropping vertically into the city's heart. 79 meters, 86, 94, 105.5, all the way to 116 meters. Your ears will tell you this isn't basement level. It's a 40-story descent. All right, let's head for the core. Top 10. Liberty Square Station, Tbilisi, Georgia. Between the valleys of the Caucasus, Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia, lies quietly unfolded. A city with 1,000 years of memory, and beneath it runs a discreet artery, the Tbilisi Metro. Along this line sits one of its most distinctive stops, Liberty Square Station. Opened in 1967, its exact depth has not been officially published, but it's widely thought to be comparable to Rustaveli Station on the same line, around 60 meters, placing it among the deepest in the city. Step onto the long escalator and you feel yourself slowly sinking, entering a world under the world. This station isn't about opulence, arched halls, heavy marble. Everything is spare and cool to the touch. That restraint mirrors its mission. In the Cold War era, it wasn't only a metro stop. It was designed with civil defense in mind, a shelter hidden in plain sight. Liberty Square above is the city's heart. It has heard cheers of independence and the chants of protest. The station lies just beneath the plaza, so it isn't only the start of a commute, it's part of Tbilisi's historical fabric. Today, tens of thousands pass through, switching between surface noise and subterranean depth. Every descent is a brief meeting with the city's memory. Liberty Square Station is more than a passageway. It's Tbilisi's underground heartbeat, a history buried deep but never asleep. Top 9. Ploshchad, Lenina, St. Petersburg, Russia. Up on the surface of St. Petersburg, the Neva drifts by and traffic hums. But directly under your feet, there's a world sunk in silence. This is Ploshchad, Lenina. It opened in 1958, descending 67 meters, roughly the height of more than 20 floors. Every day, crowds ride the long escalators, gliding into the earth. At the bottom, the air and the acoustics change, part city artery, part echo chamber of history. The name comes from its connection to Finland Station above. In 1917, this is where Lenin ended his exile, returning to Petrograd and setting a fuse to history. So this isn't just a transport node, it's a symbol of an era. Unlike Moscow's flamboyant palace stations, Ploshchad Lenina is more restrained. Marble walls, simple vaults, practical and dignified. Within that simplicity, there's a cool, quiet force, the most honest face of Soviet architecture. Stand on the platform and hear a train rush in. You can't help imagining what people felt 60 years ago, boarding here for the first time. Today it remains one of the city's busiest hubs. It ties past to present, letting St. Petersburg's history continue quietly through daily commutes. It isn't just a station, it's an entrance to history, an extension of city memory, and the deepest heartbeat beneath St. Petersburg. Top 8. Washington Park Station, Portland, USA. In Portland, there's a station that doesn't sit in a busy downtown grid. It hides among forest and parkland. This is Washington Park. It's the deepest transit station in the US, and among the deepest in North America, dropping 79 meters. To reach the platform, there are no escalators, only high-speed elevators that send you straight down in seconds, as if you're riding into the Earth's cross-section. Opened in 1998, it serves Portland's light rail system and doubles as a subterranean museum. The walls mount a massive geologic cross-section, layers and fossils spanning millions of years. Waiting for a train here feels like skimming through a natural history book. Up top, the surface world is just as rich. Washington Park collects the Oregon Zoo, gardens, museums, and miles of forest trails, so the station becomes a unique gateway for visitors. This isn't only a transport node, it's a science lesson, a cultural doorway, a meeting point between nature and city. Ride out from here and you'll realize this isn't just an underground trip. It's a conversation between people and the planet. Top 7. Park Pobedy, Moscow, Russia. On the surface, Moscow is monumental. The Kremlin, Red Square, broad avenues. Deep below, there's an underground marvel. This is Park Pobedy. Opened in 2003, it plunges 84 meters, the deepest station on the Moscow metro. To get here, you ride an ultra-long escalator, nearly 3 minutes of descent from daylight to platform. As you sink, the city slowly lets go, and you step into a true underground hall. Its name honors victory in the Great Patriotic War. So the space and finishes carry a sense of remembrance. Arched ceilings, careful lighting, marble walls, not glittering but solemn. Unlike the earliest palace stations, this design is modern and restrained, yet still grand in scale. 2 lines intersect here, making it a major hub. Park Pobedy is not just an engineering feat. It's a space of memory, a reminder of sacrifice and victory, coded into a transit system. Stand on the platform and listen to the trains roar through. There's a force you can feel, rising from the depths and from history itself. A gateway to the future, and a monument to remember. Top 6. Admiralteyskaya, St. Petersburg, Russia. In the very heart of St. Petersburg, near the Neva and the Winter Palace, a station lies far below the city. This is Admiralteyskaya. Opened in 2011, it reaches 86 meters, the deepest in St. Petersburg. Building it finally solved the long-standing problem of limited metro coverage in the historic center. To reach the platform, you pass down a long chain of escalators, a slow walk through a tunnel of time. With each meter, the city's noise peels away, replaced by the stillness and weight of depth. Inside, the design blends modern and classical notes. Tall vaults, wide volumes, soft lighting and curated details. It echoes the city's classical elegance without copying it, and it fits the practical needs of a contemporary system. The name comes from the Admiralty above ground, so it's more than a station, it's a doorway into the cultural core. Today, whether you're commuting or heading to the Winter Palace and Palace Square, you likely pass through here. A young station for St. Petersburg, but already a crucial node. Admiralteyskaya is a descent toward the Earth's center and a meeting point between the city's history and its present. Top 5. Hongtudi Station, Chongqing, China. In Chongqing, a mountain city in China, the urban fabric climbs over ridges and drops into river cuts. The terrain's complexity has created a one-of-a-kind transport logic. Under those ups and downs lies a deep, world-class station, Hongtudi. It's a major node on Chongqing rail transit with a measured depth of about 94.5 meters, officially 94.467 meters, roughly the height of a 30-story building. That makes it one of the deepest metro stations in China and beyond. To reach the platform, you ride a very long escalator, sinking as if into a vast underground canyon. For first-timers, it feels more like an expedition than a commute. Opened in 2012 for Line 6, Hongtudi later grew into a key interchange. Its existence doesn't just solve a routing problem, it symbolizes Chongqing's three-dimensional transit mindset. The design is modern and clean, tall vaults and broad interchange halls that keep even a deep station feeling open. Hongtudi is more than a stop. It's an engineering answer to a unique landscape. It tames the vertical differences of a mountain city and turns them into fluent movement underground. When the train bursts from the tunnel, you can feel it. This is more than travel. It's a dialogue between city and terrain, between people and nature. A heartbeat under Chongqing and one of the world's great underground sites. Top 4. Zoloti Vorota, Kyiv, Ukraine. In Kyiv, The Dnipro flows on, and the city rises and falls around it. That geography helped shape one of the deepest metro systems on Earth. The most astonishing is Zoloti Vorota. Opened in 1989, it plunges to 96.5 meters, over 30 floors down. To reach it, you ride for minutes, gliding into the Earth's belly. But depth isn't what makes it famous. Beauty is. Step onto the platform, and you don't feel concrete. You feel a cathedral beneath the ground. Vaults soar overhead. Mosaics and murals circle the space with medieval princes, warriors, and saints. Chandeliers hang from the dome, casting a warm, sacred light. For a moment, you forget you're waiting for a train. The name comes from the 11th century Golden Gate of Kyiv, so this isn't just transit. It's a portrait of history and culture. Here, commuting becomes a small pilgrimage. A metro isn't only a way to get somewhere, it can be a way to travel through time. Zoloti Vorota is a deep work of art and the brightest heartbeat beneath Kyiv. Top 3 Arsenalna, Kyiv, Ukraine. In Kyiv, the underground world is deeper than almost anywhere else. Under the high bluffs of the Dnipro hides the world's deepest metro station, Arsenalna. Opened in 1960, it drops 105.5 meter, roughly 35 floors. This is where terrain and engineering push each other to the limit. To reach the platform, you ride one of the world's longest escalator sequences, more than 5 minutes of descent, as if passing through layers of time and rock into the Earth's core. First-timers often feel disoriented, as if they've left the city for another world entirely. Its name comes from a 19th century arsenal above. During the Cold War, this depth also made sense as a potential shelter. Compared to Moscow's ornate palaces, Arsenalna is starkly simple. White tile, clean vaults, almost no ornament. That restraint throws its function and its depth into sharper focus. Tens of thousands use it daily. For locals, it's routine. For the rest of the world, it's a unique underground landmark. Arsenalna is Kyiv's emblem and a measuring stick for what deep really means. It reminds you that beneath the surface, cities can be awe-inspiring. Top 2. Puhŭng Station, Pyongyang, North Korea. Pyongyang's streets are not loud, but far below there's a world that can surprise you. This is Puhŭng, one of the city's signature stations, often sited at around 100 to 110 meter, placing it among the deepest anywhere. To reach it, you ride a long escalator, as if descending into an underground kingdom. Built in the 1970s, it resembles Moscow's classic style in one respect. It is not only a transport node, it was also designed with civil defense in mind, an underground shelter for a nuclear age. What sets Puhŭng apart is its decorative program. High vaults, elaborate chandeliers, and huge mosaic murals depicting themes of revolution, labor, and the future. It feels like a palace below ground, where ideology and architecture intertwine. Stand on the platform as the train approaches. The mood is solemn, almost theatrical. It doesn't feel like just a metro. It feels like a narrative continued underground. Top 1. Hongyancun Station, Chongqing, China. In China's southwest, there's a city built on mountains and named for rivers, Chongqing. The terrain is steep and tangled. Towers cling to cliffs over water. That geography produced the deepest metro spectacle on the planet. This is Hongyancun. On Line 9, it opened in 2022 and drops to 116 m, the height of a 40-story tower. As of today, it's the deepest metro station in the world. To reach the platform, you take a full underground journey, elevators and escalators in sequence, a steady plunge to the core. From the surface to the trains often takes several minutes. It feels less like going downstairs and more like threading a tunnel to the unknown. Inside, the spaces are modern and broad. Tall vaults and bright light ease the psychological weight of depth. Down here, you almost forget how far you've come. Hongyancun didn't just perfect Chongqing's 3D network. It set a new global record and stands for the human ability to carve passage through hard terrain, a city willing to push downward as bravely as it reaches up. Hongyancun is the world's deepest metro station, the underground heartbeat of Chongqing, and a marker of how far we'll go to explore the limits beneath our feet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.